In chapter 1338, Cameron silently listens on Serenity and Mrs. Newman's heated argument. In an effort to persuade Serenity to abandon her lawsuit against Carrie, Mrs. Newman highlights their social ties and offers compensation for the harm done. Serenity, however, recognizes through Mrs. Newman's front and questions her intentions. Serenity is subtly signaled by Cameron that she can handle the situation on her own. She decides not to get involved further after realizing Cameron has a little blade for self-defense. After Mrs. Newman pinches Cameron, she makes an effort to minimize Cameron's agony by calling it a stomach ache as opposed to the pain Cameron is feeling. Serenity is upset by this conduct and confronts Mrs. Newman about abusing her own daughter. Mrs. Newman urges that Serenity should pardon Carrie and abandon the lawsuit as the conversation continues. Within their social group, she emphasizes the value of maintaining happy relationships. Serenity, however, is adamant about her choice and shows her irritation with Mrs. Newman for downplaying the gravity of Carrie's deeds. She draws attention to the fact that Carrie hired someone to hurt her and wreck her car, which is a crime that shouldn't be taken lightly. It is clear that Mrs. Newman has a low opinion of Serenity because she refers to her as Mrs. York and acts disrespectfully. Despite Serenity's marriage into the York family, she thinks of her as a simpleton. Serenity, however, has the will to defend herself and not let Mrs. Newman's demeaning comments deter her, thanks to her strength and Zachary's encouragement. Serenity claims that the matter at hand has nothing to do with Cameron and is just between Carrie and herself. Despite the fact that Serenity did not suffer any harm, she is adamant that Carrie must pay for her crimes. Serenity is confronted by Mrs. Newman, who accuses her of being obstinate in wanting to file charges against her daughter.